Have you ever looked at a world map and wondered, why are there tiny countries surrounded by giants? How they didn't become part of their bigger neighbor? What makes them real countries? Are they even countries? Hello and welcome to my new video. Today I am gonna explain to you concept called microstates. Before we start, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It's few seconds and you anytime can change your mind. Now let's start. The first question we have to deal with is what makes a state a real state. According to international law, a state needs four things to exist: a defined territory, a permanent population, a government, and the capacity to enter relations with other states. If a territory has all four, congratulations, it's technically a country. But that doesn't mean everyone will recognize it. One of the crucial things that makes a state sovereign is recognition by members of UN. The country must have recognition from more than 60% of UN members. Some territories declare independence but they are not recognized by all UN members, like Kosovo or Western Sahara or North Cyprus, but that is not the subject today. That will be part of some videos in future. Today we are talking about fully recognized countries with small land area that called microstate. But before I introduce you to them, we need to clarify what a nation is and what a state is. A nation isn't the same as a state. A nation is a group of people with a shared culture, language, and identity. A state is the political structure, the borders, laws, and government. It generally coincides that the nation also has its own state, but it is not always the case. An example of this is the Kurds, a nation with a population of 40 million people, but they do not have their own state, but live in the territory of Turkey, the Caucasus, Iran and Iraq. Now that I've explained that, we can move on to today's subjects. That's Monaco, Vatican, San Marino, Liechtenstein, Andorra and Nauru. They received this thankless title because of their very small area, which in some cases is no larger than the area of some world metropolises. For example, Vatican is basically completely surrounded by Rome. The community still cannot agree on how much land area is required for a country to be a microstate, so disagreements always arise. That's why some include Malta and Singapore in this group, but at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. Monaco is city-state in Western Europe bordered by France on the north, east and west, with the Mediterranean Sea to the south, near to Italy border. It is home to 39,000 people living in an area of just 2 square kilometers, which means it is very densely populated. It's actually the most densely populated country in the world. Monaco is governed under a form of semi-constitutional monarchy, with Prince Albert II as head of state, who holds substantial political powers. The Grimaldi dynasty has ruled Monaco since 1297, what is really impressive if you ask me. The official language is French and the currency is the euro. Now the question arises, how did they manage to maintain their independence for over 700 years alongside France, which was a lover of imperialism? Well, they used to play smart. In 16th century, France wanted to swallow their little neighbor. But Monaco, to avoid this, it became a protectorate of Spain, which was the world superpower at the time. France did not want to enter a war against a stronger enemy just to conquer territory without any resources. After a few years, the Spanish Empire weakened, and this small principality feared that France might take advantage of this and conquer it, so it became their protectorate. Monaco would not have any problems until World War II, when it was occupied by the Axis powers. After that, in order to attract people to live there, they turned their country into a tax paradise, which worked for them, and many wealthy people from France and the rest of Europe moved there. Then began the construction of large casinos, luxury hotels and restaurants, and other things that made Monaco one of the most expensive places in the world. Next country on the list is Vatican. It's the smallest country in the world by population of 882 peoples and land area of 0.49 square kilometers. Unlike the Monaco, which did not have a large territory in the past, the Vatican in the Middle Ages owned a large territory in central Italy, which was then called the Pope States. The Pope States were also the main state within the Holy Roman Empire, and the Pope himself lived here. In the 19th century, the unification of the Italian states occurred, which the Pope opposed. After few years of war between Pope State and Italy, Popes was forced to move his state to the center of Rome, more precisely within the walls of the Vatican fortress. Italy didn't have balls to conquer Vatican for political reasons. Imagine reaction of rest of the world if they killed head of the Catholic Church, it wouldn't be good option. So, problem was solved in 1929, when Benito Mussolini signed peace with Pope. Considering that it is the heart of the Catholic Church, the Vatican still has a very important role on the geopolitical scene. Because of all this, the Vatican remains the only absolute monarchy in democratic Europe. The next country we'll talk about is not far from the Vatican, and it's San Marino. Landlocked country in southern Europe, completely surrounded by Italy. Located on the northeastern slopes of the Apennine Mountains, San Marino is the fifth smallest country in the world by area of 61 square kilometers and population of 34,000 peoples. This state existed as early as the 3rd century BC, which means it is one of the oldest states in the world. It was first occupied by the Romans, and when the Roman Empire collapsed, they were independent but were always under the influence of the stronger principalities around them. Various dynasties and rulers ruled it throughout the Middle Ages. In 17th and 18th century, Pope states surrounded it completely and turned it into their protectorate. After that, they conquered San Marino. True independence will be gained while Garibaldi, the man who united Italy, was at war with the Papal State and needed shelter. The people of San Marino helped him, and in return he gave them the independence they still have today. Italians live in San Marino and sometimes I wonder why they didn't just become part of Italy. The fourth microstate on the list is Liechtenstein, a tiny alpine state between Switzerland and Austria. It is home to 41,000 people living on 160 square kilometers, which is more in area than the previous three combined. Unlike the other countries on the list, Liechtenstein has more than one city, capital is Vaduz and he is divided into 11 municipalities. Liechtenstein is a semi-constitutional monarchy headed by the Prince of Liechtenstein, currently led by Hans Adam II. The Liechtenstein dynasty, which was loyal to the Habsburg monarchy, considered purchasing 2 counties within the Holy Roman Empire in the 17th century. And they actually did it. In 1699 they established their own state. In the second half of the 19th century, the German states moved towards unification, but they somehow forget about Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein, in order to preserve its independence from the other countries it is surrounded by, is becoming very close to Switzerland, which has the role of a neutral state. It was precisely this proximity to Switzerland that saved them from remaining independent to this day. The last country is Nauru, small island country in South Pacific with area of 21 square kilometers and 12,000 peoples. Nauru is the 3rd smallest country in the world, larger than only Vatican City and Monaco, making it the smallest republic and island nation. Polynesian natives lived there 3,000 years ago, and first contact with other peoples had in 18th century. The island has been discovered by British Captain John Fern in 1798. Around this time, deserters from European ships began to live on the island. After an agreement with Great Britain, Germany annexed Nauru in 1888. After World War I, Nauru again became British colony, but not for long cause in World War II, Japan took this island from British. After war, Nauru became British colony again, and independence got in 1968, because colonies were no longer socially acceptable. Fun fact, before 40 years Nauru had the second biggest GDP per capita in the world, cause they exported phosphate-enriched fertilizer. Unfortunately, the money they earned was not reinvested well and any glamour and luxury they had managed to remember was forgotten. As you can see, these countries, although they are small, do not exist by chance. Each of them has a reason for existing. Some were lucky, some played smart, while some, they are just irrelevant. There is a lot of countries like this, but we don't have time to cover them all in one clip. So, I hope you enjoyed in this video. Leave like, subscribe, and if you have any suggestions for the next video, please leave them in the comments. See you in next video.